Welcome to Cranfield School of Management here in the UK. It's great to have you with us. Thanks for taking time out of your busy days to join us. And if you're watching the recording, you missed an amazing session. My name is Toby Thompson. I'm Studio Director in the glorious Grenville Turner Studios. You saw just then a live shot of the main campus area. It's as if you're at Cranfield already. We can't wait to welcome you onto Cranfield campus. If you're interested in finance, you are in the right place. We have a portfolio of finance courses here that we want to tell you about, so please keep listening. We have an interactive session planned, so if you have any questions on the live session about anything, literally anything that you hear, please type into the text chat your questions. We're not going to open audio channels, just text chat. Type it in and we'll do our best to answer whatever questions you have, pretty much anything on finance. We're going to be joined by two course directors, Yassine and Lakshmi, and a student, amazing student that we have here at Cranfield. So you have a reason to ask a ton of quite difficult questions. I reckon we'll be together for an hour, no more than an hour for sure. So get ready with those text chat questions. We know that you have choices when it comes to studying finance. Clearly we want you to study here at Cranfield. But before we go much further to find out about the courses from the course directors, let's remind ourselves what an amazing place Cranfield University is. It always gets me excited whenever I see that. I think I saw one of your colleagues in there. I'm sure I saw a colleague. Sorry, this is Yassine. Yassine Belghatar is going to be joining us for the rest of the session. I'm sure I saw someone from the finance department in that film. You should have been in it too if it wasn't already. Your face says you didn't recognize them. Again, thank you to Cranfield. Let's go over to our remote guest because we have Yassine, and I'm going to just talk to Yassine at the moment about the portfolio, but we have the amazing Lakshmi. Lakshmi, it's great working with you. Thank you for coming back to the studio one more time. So thank you. And we also have, and this is a live image, Hao Feng, give us a wave just to prove to you you're not AI generated, you are real. Just wave, if you can wave to us. Yeah, there you go, there's a real wave. It's just proof that we have a real student who can answer pretty much any questions around what is it like to study finance here at Cranfield? What's Cranfield like? So any students that you may have around what is Cranfield like in the portfolio, you can ask Hao Feng. So yes, Lakshmi, will come back to you very shortly. I'm going to start, if I can, Yassine, can you introduce yourself? Yeah. I'm always interested, as you know, around backgrounds, who people are, what they've done. Tell us a bit about that before you talk about the portfolio.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Yassine Belghatar. I'm professor of finance here at Cranfield University. I've been here almost now 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah. Prior to that, I was also teaching in other universities like Durham and Middlesex. So if you want about my background, when I did my first degree a while ago, I went on working as old graduate. So I worked in the banking sector, more into the investment in the corporate side for a few years. I worked mainly with the private equity and generating the deals and setting the funding for these ventures. And then, I don't know how.
You came into academia.
I went back to academia and got a scholarship to do a PhD. And in fact, I found it very enjoyable those years, doing my PhD research on venture capitalists. Yes, yeah, how venture capitalists can improve their screening process when it comes. That's something always fascinated me when I was at work. How do we select, you know, what's the best way to screen, you know, because you don't have much time. You have so many, companies that are looking, they're all interesting, but there is only one that will make you money.
How do you choose?
Yeah, how do you choose? How do you? So I spent time doing my PhD there, and then I liked it, and then I became in academia, and now I'm here at Cranfield. I'm teaching modules related to corporate finance, like financial management, merger acquisition, private equity, the stuff I love and I share with my students.
So you're, as I understand it, interested in managerial risk attitude, compensation,
Yeah,
and
that's
corporate
that's
governance?
that's part also. That's one part of my research is how, you know, especially when I remember this is when you provide equity to companies is how you know you are the, what do you call it, the main shareholders or the main equity, but you are not managing the firm. So how do you incentivize the employee or the managers there to be aligned with your strategical point of view? So, and then I looked at the compensation, how compensation incentivize the managers and how that can also affect the risk taking of the individuals as well. So that's part also of my research, and I have written few papers on that.
Wow,
The
and
relationship.
that influences the landscape of the financial sector, I guess, heavily.
Yeah, and also is related to the governance, because that's
Yes.
that's how do you link these incentives to the corporate world, or to the corporate or to the governance side of the company. They're all related.
I guess I'm asking you that about your background
Yes.
because it's worth you knowing that everyone at Cranfield has an industry-facing background at some point. And so you're learning from someone who's done it, as opposed to a pure theorist.
Exactly.
You wouldn't regard yourself as a pure theorist.
No. It's you know, we always try to look. You know, one of the things when we're in the class, we say that's what the theory says. Let's look at the practice. How to bridge, the gap between practice. You know, the theory tells you, you know, for the return we want a risk-free return. But then when we discuss what is a risk-free return,
What does it actually look
what
like?
is a risk-free? Something that has zero risk. So what is that investment that has zero risk? So the theory tells you, but in practice, do we have it?
Is there one? Just out of interest, there isn't one, presumably.
There isn't one. There isn't one, but there is something close to it.
Wow.
There is something close to it. So we need. So that's the theory. The theory is beautiful. Yeah, it's elegant when you explain it. But then when you go and apply it, okay, what risk-free should I use? Should I use a government bond? Should I use what yield should I use?
A little too
long term,
elegant.
short term.
Yeah.
See, these are the things that, you know, only practice. Then you know, from practice that you can bring them up to the class. And one of the key advantage for Cranfield University compared to other universities, we are a postgraduate university.
Yeah.
We are really close to the industry. Most of our programs, apart from the MSc, which we call here graduate programs, we have a host of portfolio of other programs that are designed mainly for companies that come here to get short training, short courses. And our master students, they get the advantage to network with these individuals who are already working. Some of them, they come also and present for our MSc students, like we had one this week that presented to our students. So there is that's what we offer to the students, not only, you know, they come here to study, but the opportunities that we don't offer jobs, but we offer the network. We offer, and usually all these companies that are training with us, whenever they're looking for a position, they approach us, and then we can share that information with our students. So that's the key advantage of Cranfield, in my view, compared to other universities. So in the UK.
So when I come to ask you about the portfolio programs that we
Yes,
have,
yes.
that would be an abiding theme across all of them, that practicality?
Yes, exactly. And you know, in these courses are also, we have a what do you call it, an advisory board when we designed these programs. And in these advisory boards, we have people from the corporate world that are advising us what kind of perhaps module, what type of things that you need to perhaps more focus upon. So we are informed by, when we're designing our curricula, by.
You preface one of my questions is how do you remain relevant? But let's hold that thought,
Yeah.
Lakshmi, can I come to you? Because I want to hear the same sort of background, or not the same background, but you have a really interesting background in developmental economics. Just say a little bit about your background.
Thank you, Toby. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from wherever you're joining us. I hope you're well. So I'm Dr. Lakshmi Subramanian, and as Toby said, I'm a lecturer in financial economics. My background is economics and banking. So I have a PhD in development economics in emerging markets. But prior to my PhD, I started my career as a banker, and I was overlooking retail banking and investment banking. And then a similar story like Yasin, I did get an opportunity to pursue my PhD, and that sort of piqued my interest into research, policy, advocacy, and since then I sort of shifted gears into more on research, and now I'm a full-time academic at Cranfield.
You've been very modest there. Financial inclusion, household decision making, poverty, inequality, public health, health supply chain. These are all interests of yours. So if you have any
Yes.
questions or queries about any of that, Lakshmi is the person to talk about. And I guess, Lakshmi, you would agree with Yassine's point about the practicality, the industry facingness of the
Absolutely.
portfolio?
So absolutely. So I think what Yasin said was absolutely right. So we are not very much focused only on what the textbooks tell you, because I think with technology now, prospective students can read and sort of the learning curve is much shorter than what it was earlier. But the idea is to know what textbooks tell you, but also to challenge you to be critical thinkers and reflective financial professionals as to is that exactly what's happening in what we see around us. So I think we have a lot of sessions which challenge you to think outside the box, question what theory is telling you and how practical it is. And we do that through case studies, we do that through activities, we do that through open brainstorming sessions, and also we have a speaker series, something that Yasin mentioned. So every month we try to get someone from the industry to sort of tell you what their perspective is. So I think it's this triangulation of knowledge and skills that's very unique about Cranfield. And, we give you a very realistic picture of what you actually need when you start your career after you finish your program with us. So I think that's very unique about us.
Was that Ishtiaq from HSBC this week that you
Yes,
mentioned
yes,
talking
Yes,
to the students?
yes,
exactly. Yeah.
yes,
And
exactly. So that was a part of our Economics and Finance Center series, and we try every month, depending on the schedule of the lectures, to get a expert from different areas in finance. So this time we had someone from HSBC. So we get speakers from banking, from finance, from venture capital to give students and speak to students about their own experiences. And I think it's students might feel that Yasin and I are people who teach at Cranfield, so we tell you something. But when it comes from someone who is working at a
Experiencing.
bank or who's working at a financial organization, it comes from the horse's mouth. I think students tend to take more notice of it, and they sort of like to interact, they like to network, and so they bombarded Ishtiaq last week with a LinkedIn requests because they want to get to know what's happening out there. So that's a kind of network and ambience that we are building in. It's just not in-class teaching, but there's also a lot of peer-to-peer knowledge exchange, industry, networking, so that there's more relevant learning that's happening.
Understood. Brilliant intro. Thank you. Yassine, can you just give us an idea of the three courses that we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So within the Faculty of Business and Management at Cranfield University, we have a finance team which consists of three courses. We have the MSc Finance, MSc Accounting and Finance, and MSc Economics, Banking and Finance. Each program is targeted for a certain type of career. Yeah. For example, the MSc Finance is more towards those students who are looking for a career in investment banking, working for fund management, for wealth management, for advisors. So they're looking at more into the investment side of the finance, work in the financial markets as well. Whereas the MSc Accounting and Finance is more towards those who are looking in a career as a business analyst or working in any finance department with any business.
Or a consultancy.
Yeah, consultancy.
Yeah.
So it's slightly and the MSc Economics, Banking and Finance is more about retail banking.
Right.
Is that correct, Lakshmi? If I she might disagree with me, but yeah.
Okay, so I think for the MSc Banking, Economics and Finance is more focused on individuals who see themselves in the space of retail banking. And I said retail banking because now retail banking space is changing because we have a lot of fintechs, big techs who are entering that space. So that MSc in Banking, Economics and Finance will equip you with more skills around digital banking, cryptocurrencies, fintech, and everything to do in that space. So the real truth now is banking is changing. So it's not necessary that you need to know certain aspects of banking to be a banker, because with the fintechs coming in, it's sort of disrupted the entire market. So that's the difference between the three programs, and I agree with Yasin on that.
Yeah, in that sense, you can be doing banking without being a bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
But through the the innovation, the new kind of mobile, what we call the mobile application, mobile banking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do even like the talk we had last time about even
Yes,
Amazon
yes.
can do banking, even other
Banking.
the banking is the activities. It's not restricted only to banks. Now with the technology, it's any kind of business can do banking.
It seems to be moving so fast.
Yes,
The industry is moving so fast.
Exactly.
How do you keep up?
Well, that's the idea. So if you look at all these programs, they're all accredited, by, for example, for the MSc Finance, by the CFA. So we have to review our curricula every time with the chartered financial analysts, to be up to date. For the MSc Accounting and Finance, those who finish the MSc Accounting and Finance, they have accreditation with CIMA.
Mm-hmm.
So we have every 2 years to review with them the curricula and then see what is relevant, what is less relevant. And then with the MSc Economics and Banking, we have chartered bankers.
The Chartered Bankers
Institute that oversee the curricula. And on top of this, we have what Cranfield has. I think it's quite a feature compared to other universities. We have an advisory board that consists of CEOs in companies. They could be in the banks. They could be in venture capitalists. So we meet once a year and to discuss what are the trends in that area. For example, if I'm teaching private equity, what kind of things we need to be focusing, what they bring us cases we access. So that's how we stay relevant and we stay up to date.
So Cranfield, you should be looking at this. This is a trend emerging. Why aren't you doing something?
Yeah, why are you not doing this? Why you, for example, in terms of innovation, in terms of insurance, why are you not looking at this aspects? Could you bring more, cases on this? Could you, so this is how we try to stay relevant to our students.
Lakshmi, can I ask you about that? Are you expecting students to come on one of these three courses to be equally tuned in to the industry? Or if they're already in retail banking and they want to move further up the industry, maybe they don't need to have that wider picture. How curious do people need to be?
I think the word is curiosity, and I always say, Toby, to my students that don't expect that things will be easy at the start. You will be learning new things. So when we look at our students, we get a wide array of students with different experiences and backgrounds. So I would say don't get perturbed if you don't have a background in banking, or if you don't know much about what banking is. We are here to help you. Of course, you'll need to put in the hard work, but we will create the environment where you are learning, and sort of we'll support you with whatever is needed. So if you're a prospective student and looking to apply for at least the banking program, I can speak for that because I'm the course director for the banking program. It's not necessary that you need to have a banking background. The current cohort, we have people from different backgrounds, and they are sort of into banking because, as I said, banking is changing. So the idea of a brick and mortar bank doesn't exist. So many of us might have a bank account where we will not even walk into a bank branch anymore. So it's more about how curious you are, how willingly you are able to adapt to the market. I think that's an important skill trait for future bankers.
It's so exciting. The picture you both paint is really exciting future for banking. So I guess you want people that are interested in that future. Hao Feng, I want to come to you if I can, because I want to hear from an actual student. I'm sorry, an actual student, but you're a PhD student, if I've understood that correctly. Tell us more about your background. Where are you? What are you studying for your PhD at the moment?
Oh yeah, my background was also in Cranfield. I was in the Master of Finance and Management in 2020 to 2021, and now my PhD topic is about the how to attract the investors' trust onto the initial coin offering. It is a tokenization of fundraising investment. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. We could have a conversation for an hour just on that. You did your MSc at Cranfield here in finance. Did you come from a financial background, and did you intend to go back into that financial background?
Actually, I was majoring in the logistics management for my bachelor degree, and because when I applied for my master, at the time there was also a webinar just like today, and from this webinar I got my interest on finance, so I applied into the finance master. Yeah.
That's amazing. You must have been open enough. I mean, you know Hao Feng, open enough to think about new opportunities or new areas as a study. You're working with Hao Feng around this whole topic by the sound of it.
Yeah, exactly. So Hao Feng is looking at new ways of raising funds for companies. And, that's the things that we were talking earlier on about how we stay up to date. When if you look a few years ago when we teach in corporate finance, well, what are the sources of finance for a company? We just talk about debt and equity. And then with that, we say, they can issue bonds, you can have loans from banks. But now companies can also raise capital through, for example, initial coin offering, ICOs, which are another way of, what do you call it, the new kind of non-fiat money that can be used to raising. Is similar. Probably, I don't know, those who are in webinars, they may have heard about crowdfunding, yes, but ICOs is companies that can raise capital by issuing these coins that gives to the investors some kind of benefits within the company, and they don't need to go through a bank. They don't need an intermediary to raise this capital. So that's another way of raising capital. Directly, the company directly issue these coins, and so they don't need to go to the bank. They don't need to go to the capital market to, for example, to do an IPO.
Yes, I was thinking.
Yeah, they don't need to do that. So that's another way. So because ICOs or initial coin offerings, any company can issue this type of coins. They're not regulated.
Yeah, so how do you trust the company?
Unlike the initial public offerings,
Yes.
When you go there, you have an advisor, you go through a security market.
Could be anything.
Yeah. But within ICOs, is how do you convince your investors? How do you convince your investors to invest? And we have seen that there is trend in companies issuing ICOs because and one of the key advantage for the company, of course, not going to an intermediary, it's also there is low transaction costs for them to raise. So Hao Feng is looking how companies can build that trust in order to raise those ICOs. So he's looking at certain aspects within the companies, within these projects or these investments. In particular, he's looking at the white paper, a specific document that this firms, and usually these companies tend to be in high tech, or or they're developing a new product that doesn't exist, or something very high risk.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's and now even so that's how we started about ICO. But now even we can see even large corporation picking on this. So that's something in the future that might become another. So now there is an alternative way of raising capital apart from debt and equity. So
I didn't know that. I've learned something from hearing about this. If you're interested in doing that, maybe you're not interested in a PhD right now, but you start on an MSc. Hao Feng, you started on MSc. You must have had interest in the ICO area to carry on to do a PhD, right?
Yes, yes. Because there was an elective course in my master. It's about the blockchain and the cryptocurrency finance. So I learned something about ICO from that course, and that's the time I began to investigate on ICOs.
I just think it's amazing. You need to invite you back to have a similar discussion. Can I go back to Yassine and Lakshmi around rankings? Because we're proud at Cranfield. We're proud of our rankings. Yassine, you can tell us, I think we've got a slide, haven't we, which tells us around why people should come to Cranfield, because we're pretty darn good. Is that fair
I mean,
to
in
say?
terms of Financial Times, one of our rankings, we are ranked number 8
in the UK.
In the UK, and based on the QS, we are ranked 56th in the world. So
not bad.
Not yeah. I mean, there's only few universities in the UK that are ranked. A lot of them are not even ranked. So in that sense, I think that shows, the quality of our finance programs are recognized by within the industry.
Mm-hmm. So Lakshmi, we've heard about how pragmatic we are. We've heard about how well ranked we are. Say more about the program. Let's say from a structure point of view, what does a typical term look like?
So a typical term 1 will have common, modules which are common to finance, accounting, and banking. So these modules aim to sort of build the concepts of students. So some students might have a background in one area, might not have a background in another area. So term 1 are core modules that sort of build the foundational knowledge and skills for students depending on the program that they choose. Term 2 is when, depending on your programs, you get more specialized knowledge into what your choice has been and what areas. And we offer electives, and depending on the program, you have more details on what electives are offered. So term 1 builds on your knowledge, basic foundations. Term 2 gives you more enhancement of your cognition in that specific area of finance or banking that you're looking for. And we are just not talking about finance, banking, or accounting skills. I think we are also very, mindful of building research and analytical skills for students. So throughout the different modules, we have specific modules which focus on statistical analysis, skills that will be required for them to carry on with their thesis. And the last term is when students embark on an individual thesis, which, because it's a level 7 master's, so the thesis is a critical component. And I always tell my students that the thesis is a best way to demonstrate to future employers what you are capable of, what your interests are, and it gives you a lot of confidence to speak about a specific topic that sort of interests you. So it is intense, but I'm sure it's well laid out that at different times you are enhancing your skills, but also sort of moving ahead in your professional and personal journey. So that would be, in a summary, how the structure looks like.
I guess summary, yes. Obviously, the website has a load more information, and you can read that. That's why we're not covering that in detail here. Lakshmi, is there group work, or is it entirely individual?
No. So at Cranfield, we are very, especially for the School of Management, we are very popular and we take pride in our learning teams. So what we would do is when you start your program, within the first few weeks, we will sort of put you into different learning teams and being very mindful that everyone has a different background, has different experiences, has different motivation. The idea to get that learning team is to give you a simulation of what a real world experience could look like. So you will be working with people who might be from a different industry, like what one of our peers said. So the learning team environment is a great way to interact and network. And some of the modules have assignments also, which are based on learning team. So the learning team environment also gives you the opportunity to learn from each other, support someone who's lagging behind. You can get together to do some activities, research in the area, etc. So it's not an individual journey at all. We sort of ensure that there is support embedded at different parts through your peers, through your, academics, through the support staff, etc. So that would be how we work.
That sounds actually fun. Hao Feng, can I come to you around that notion that Lakshmi just mentioned there about support? Think back to your master's time, 2021, 22, I think you said. Tell us more about the support that you had for your studies. Are you left alone, or is there enough support, in your opinion?
Oh, actually, I think I can discuss this question about from the lecture support and our co-work teams work, because our teachers, our lecturers are very patient. Every time I have questions, I will ask them when the class is finished, or I can just email to them to ask my questions. And just as Lakshmi said, we have the work team like the I'll say that like study team. We will discuss the questions, or we would call together, and it's a great chance for me to communicate with the classmates from distinguished perspective, and we would solve the problems together. Yeah.
And Hao Feng, tell me about the class structure. Is everyone from every single country in the world? Is it mostly bankers? Tell me about what a typical class would look like of people.
Oh, class.
Your colleagues.
I think many classmates from different countries. Like just in my core team, we have a boy from Argentina, girl from India, and 2 boys from France, and me. We have 5 people in my team. Yeah,
Right.
and among the whole class, like I'm sure maybe from Europe, from India, from Asia, America. Yeah, so many people from different countries.
Wow. Yassine, can I ask you about the teaching team then? Because we've got Lakshmi and you today. Is that it? Or is there a whole shed load
there's
more
the
of
whole
academics?
faculty of business and management, and they're all there's the finance faculty and the economics faculty. We are also international. Yeah, we are from different countries. We have people from Europe, from Africa, and also from Asia as well teaching. So it also reflects the type of students we also attract. So we are really international faculty here in business.
And go back to the students if you can.
Yeah.
People who are watching this, and hopefully if you're not watching the recording, you're with us live. What is a good student? How does someone who's really keen to get with us at Cranfield on one of the courses we're talking about, what's a good student look like?
I think to me, the good student is somebody, regardless what was his previous background, regardless what was his, I mean, of course, he has to meet certain criteria, academic criteria,
Yes.
to come to us. Is somebody who is keen to learn. That's what a good student. That's what makes it. It's it's 1 year. It can be challenging.
I'm going to
Yeah,
say
it can
very
be.
intensive.
It can be challenging. So the students who is willing to put the hours in preparing, for the lectures, and as well as doing all the activities within the learning teams that we set, and that's a good students. That's that. But the students who thinks that I have already done finance and they come here and then I just sleep, that might have some issues
They will have an issue,
in
yes.
ending up. But that so it's somebody who is keen, somebody who is willing to learn, somebody who is not shy to ask question in the class, because that's what we want. It's all about, Cranfield way of teaching is not presenting the slides. It's more about the interaction in the class.
Being challenged. You don't
it's
mind being
challenging.
challenged.
I love it because I don't know everything, and sometimes you ask me question,
yeah.
and then if that's a good question. I didn't think about it, and it pushes me to go and do more.
Yeah.
So, and also so for the students. So I think it's somebody who is keen learning, and I think in Cranfield, to be honest, we don't have that issue. Most of the students who come are really motivated. That's my
wanna be
experience. They really want to be here. They're making an investment. That's an investment. You find
Ooh, very
you
good.
make an investment
Yeah.
and you want a return.
Yeah.
And the return, what is the return? Is that you get a good job or a nice job or set up your own company.
Oh, now you're
Yes.
talking. We got a
Yes.
Bethany Center for Entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Lakshmi, can I come to you? Because it sounds like a very
Yes.
intensive 1 year. Are we talking about working from dawn till dusk every day, every weekend? What's it like?
I would like to say that it's a lot of self-motivated learning, Toby, because
Right.
I think it is master's level 7. It is intense. And when you've made the decision and choice to come to Cranfield, I'm sure you are here for the right reasons. So don't be under the impression that it's going to be easy. 4 hours of lectures would mean that you have to put in more hours of reading and self-directed understanding, because as Yasin says, a lot of what we discuss is driven based on what students ask us. Of course, we will discuss what's required from an industry point of view, but everyone's journey is very different, very unique. So I would say a prospective student should be willing to learn, not get too comfortable where they are, because if you are comfortable, you're not learning. And be prepared to be challenged in a constructive manner, not to overwhelm yourself, but to sort of challenge yourself in the right manner, because at the end of the day, you want to finish the program and then make a good life out of the decisions that you have made. So I think that's very, very important. Of course, immerse yourself in the other Cranfield experiences of student union, fun, and other non-academic activities. But I think the priority is very much on learning and ensuring that it fits your career trajectory, and don't be swayed by what someone else is doing. Comparisons don't work at this level. Focus on yourself, invest in yourself, and I think that's the best way around here.
That sounds quite a luxury, doesn't it? I want to come to Hao Feng, because Hao Feng, I can see you nodding when Lakshmi was talking there. Every weekend you must have been in the library in your master's study. Every evening you must have been reading. You worked until late at night, is that right?
Not actually. Not every weekend.
Not
but
every
like
weekend.
some-
Yeah, because otherwise it would be boring.
Yeah, but
like,
yeah,
like some weekends near the exams or the presentations, I will spend time in library or spend time to discuss the exams or the presentation or the paper we need to do with my coworkers. But I actually spend weekends with my other friends in Cranfield, like we play cards or we play badminton, something like
Nice.
that.
Nice. Wow. And tell me, the project, we talked, or the individual thesis that Lakshmi mentioned there when you were doing your master's study, did you bring that idea to Cranfield, or did that idea for that individual thesis emerge during your studies?
Oh,
I mean, were
I
you
think
told that you're going to be studying this and you got no choice, or did you choose your topic?
you mean my dissertation?
Yes.
Or yeah. I chose it by myself because, like, in April or May we will got a long list of the dissertation topic we can choose, and the topic will be provided by the lecturers, and we can choose which one we are interested. Like we can choose 3 most interested topics, and we can see if in the lecturers or supervisors would talk this topic with us. Yeah, so it's actually chose by myself.
That's good to hear. Yassine, can I come back to you in terms of careers? People, it sounds like maybe have come from banking of some sort, or maybe not banking, but will go back into banking or the finance industry.
Yeah, it's in terms of students' background that we attract. We have students from all backgrounds. We have students who have studied medicine that they wanted to shift.
And that's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Somebody who thought we did. I mean, one of our best students, like 3 years, 3 years ago, I think he did law studies.
Wow.
Yeah, but then he found the link between corporate law and finance.
Yeah, it's like Haofeng.
And in fact, that's what he's
Logistics
working
and
now.
finance.
So he has background in law, and then now he's working in corporate law, which is very, rewarding career. So we don't what do you call it, restrain students coming to us. They have to have what do you call it, background in finance or economics or business. A lot of our students, and in fact, quite few of them, they come from a completely different background. As you know, one of the big faculty here is engineering.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of students with engineering background that they want to come, especially for the investment side of finance. They find it because they have some skills that in mathematics or in computing or in programming, that they can use that one and learn finance. So we don't restrict them. So it's very open, and that's what Lakshmi was saying about term one. Term one is a foundation term where we bring up everybody to a same level, and then term two is there where they specialize. So
Right.
if somebody have done finance, he can see what the things are needed in term one. Somebody who comes from engineering, that's all new learning for him. Yeah. So term one, we start from zero. We don't assume that you have done finance before.
So people in the audience here watching this, the recording
Yeah.
or the live session, thinking, you know what, I'm not sure if I have enough information or knowledge about finance. That shouldn't be a worry.
No, that's not. That's absolutely no. And that's what we say. That's how sometimes we tend to interview students, and sometimes students also meet with us prior to applying, and we say, as long as you are motivated and that's what you want, then because we start from zero. We start from zero, but the only difference is the pace. Yeah, because it's a really short term, and that's what we expect you to be dedicated. So we want to work with motivated individuals, and that's what we get in Cranfield. And when you come here, you see, that's why Haofeng was talking about the learning teams. It's a very mixed. So you get in the learning team somebody with engineering background, you got somebody with law background, and then when they sit on working on the cases, on activities, everybody, you're learning from your peers.
Yes, as much as you are from the professors.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So peer learning is very important for us. So that's why we make sure that we have these mixed teams. And it's fascinating how they help each other.
Yeah.
They, somebody probably have done some economics before, the other one has done some law studies, and then when there is a case study about restructuring, you find all this what do you call it, past backgrounds
Yes.
helpful, because that help in producing a good what do you call it, assignment or a good presentation. So you can see it. That's
And you make
team
friends for life.
for life.
For
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Lakshmi, I was going to ask you, maybe I shouldn't based on what Yassine just said, is there a typical career profile where people go back to? Do they become a certain finance officer, or is it so broad that we can't even think about it?
So for the banking program, since it is accredited by the Charter Banker Institute, so once you complete the taught element of the program, you get the associate charter banker status. So with that status, it sort of opens up your pathway into retail banking, digital banking, and it's like a validation from the core banking institute that you have the relevant skills to sort of start your career. Now, some people people choose to stay with banking. So they might pick up roles within banking, digital banking, say ring fencing, risk management, etc. within banking. Other people might choose to work with consultancies that work with bank, because we also need individuals who understand banking to provide consulting services. And I think for the banking program, there are also opportunities for anyone who might be interested in something related to policy or advocacy. So Toby, I would say that it's very difficult to sort of say that this is the standardized pathway. It's not a magic bullet that will sort of apply to everyone. But I think we are confident in our programs, independent of which finance, accounting, or banking, that students come out of with what they want and choose what they want to do. So there's not one standard answer as to what the pathway might look like in future.
Understood. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm back on that point about accreditation, Lakshmi. And a chartered banker, is that another exam that people have to take, or just finish the course and you get chartered banking?
So for the banking program, for the MSc in Banking, Economics and Finance, if you finish the taught elements of the program, and I'm hoping that you will pass all the modules successfully with minimum 50%, then you get an associate charter banker status. But that is only for the banking program, and the requirements are different for different programs, Toby, because it completely depends on the accrediting body. So that's for the banking program, and I think Yasin can sort of help you with finance and accounting.
Well, sticking on the banking, there is that, I understood, Principles of Responsible Banking Academy, the UN initiative.
Yes.
Say more about that.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
So what banking students also get is they get a digital badge from Principles of Responsible Banking Academy, because right now banking is just not like a tick in the box as far as selling financial products and services is concerned. It's also the discussion around banks' responsibility towards making those sustainable choices for customers, for stakeholders, and the wider community. So what we have done is worked closely with Charter Banker Institute, and some of the modules that we sort of focus in second term is around sustainable banking, digital banking, artificial intelligence in banking, so that when someone finishes the program and has a validation from the CBI, it's like a validation of their commitment to sustainability as well, because bankers need to be responsible and ethical in their choices as well. So I think that's an added advantage for this program that many of the other universities don't offer. So yes, that's unique for us.
Good point. And I guess you're saying you would agree that from the finance point of view, there's an accreditation involved?
Exactly. I mean, for the MSc Accounting and Finance, we have the CIMA accreditation.
Right.
And like the MSc Banking, in the accreditation, you have to complete your MSc Accounting and Finance successfully, both the taught part as well as the dissertation part.
But there's no extra exam for CIMA?
There is one case study
Ah.
they have to do once they have finished, and then they get the chartered advanced diploma in management.
Wow.
from the CIMA, and they get 11 exemptions. So they don't have to do all that. They just have to.
That's good.
A case study of 2 hours.
That's good.
Yeah, and then for the MSc Finance, is not an accreditation. Is mainly most of the element or curricula are drawn from, especially in term 2, from the CFA. And as a recognition of our program is recognized, the CFA provides scholarship for our students, so they don't have to pay to sit level 2, level 3 exams. So they do it for free for certain students.
Wow, you mentioned the magic word scholarships there. Can you say a bit more about what, and if any, scholarships are available for the 3 courses?
Yeah, I think I will advise the students to go to our website where we get detailed information about. We have scholarships. We have merit scholarships.
Yeah, there's one up on the screen now.
It's coming, and we have excellence scholarships. We have different types of scholarship depending on the individuals, from what region they come as well. I cannot detail now, but it's better go to our website, and you will see that we are offering quite few scholarships for our students, especially on a merit basis.
Find out and then get back in touch. I'm assuming people can get back in touch with you or
Exactly.
Lakshmi.
And then if they have any other query about the scholarships, feel by any means to email me directly or Lakshmi. We'll be happy to address any query about scholarships. But rather than me telling you what the criteria, please go to the website and
Get in touch.
go to that information and apply for it.
Good. Hao Feng, I got a question for you. Can you
Yeah.
rewind several years when you were thinking of coming to Cranfield to do your masters? What would you recommend to people who are on this call today thinking of coming here? What's your recommendations to them?
Oh, I think the most interesting for me to attract me to study here is the course arrangement, because the course arrangement is set up from the simple to the complex. It is very systematical, and it can help, like me, it helped me to grow from a beginner for finance to grow up to a more professional financial person. Yeah, so I think it is the most attracting aspect for students to choose Cranfield.
Wow, that's amazing to hear, because it kind of chimes into what you were saying earlier on about relevance and pragmatism. Systematic. We're systematic about all of those things. We don't just let something drop. We're going to follow it through in great
Exactly,
detail
yeah.
and apply it to industry too. Hao Feng, thank you very much indeed. Your advice then, what if people are thinking of coming on one of the three programs, what should they be doing right now?
I think they should be applying. They should be finding information about us, and I think the sooner the better, because the places tend to be filled quickly,
Yes.
and so it's better if they make their mind quickly as whether they want to join us. I think if they have any questions that they still have some or they have some doubts about it, please approach us. And we will be able to. I don't know if you have any questions.
Well, there is one. This is Abdi. I'm interested in the MSc in economics, banking and finance.
Yes.
Given the challenges faced by the emerging economies like Somalia, with low banking and economic policies, I want to ask, how does the MSc program prepare students to formulate and implement effective financial strategies that can drive economic development? Wow, what a brilliant question.
That's a thesis. That's something.
That's a thesis.
That's a thesis topic, I think, and we'll perhaps the best thing for him is to come and study with us and see what we offer in terms of banking, and then because this is a specific. He's looking at a specific case
Yes.
within his country,
Yes.
and in order to answer this question, we need to get some data, some information, some evidence, and then we. Probably if he's interested in addressing this question, then we help him to look at it from evidence-based rather than...
So it's okay for people to bring issues, challenges, interests
Exactly.
to the study.
To the study. And that's what, and we love that stuff because, it's something that, because he's keen about knowing his, what did you say, where is he from?
I don't know where, but
I think he mentioned
Abdi Jabbar Mohammed. So
No, he
I
said
mentioned Somalia.
Somalia. So I
mentioned
expect it's
Somalia.
about Somalia. So that's why he must have better knowledge about Somalia. We will have access to certain information or data. Then he will certainly through the course be taught about the right approach to address this question. So that's a good thesis topic.
Lakshmi, I think got the word development in there. You've got to have a point on that. Tell us more.
Yes. So I think my take is when we do case studies, although we are based out of UK and we understand that finance and banking is changing so drastically, we also include case studies from a lot of emerging markets. And coming from a development background, I think some of the emerging markets have a lot of learnings because of leapfrogging, because of technology. So we discuss case studies from Africa, from Latin America, from emerging markets in Asia, where the so-called advanced nations can also learn. So So I think it's a myth that emerging markets don't have much to offer. I don't think so. I think we learn a lot from what's happening, especially in banking, in the area of financial inclusion and mobile technology, of how technology is being used for finance in resource constrained setups. And Africa is actually, I would say, a board of case studies. So if you are interested, sorry, I didn't get the name, but if you are interested, you should apply, and we will discuss more case studies from around the globe. And I think that's how that improves your understanding of what has worked and what has not worked, and support your policy making if you're interested in that sector.
Abdi Jabbar Mohammed was the name there. I know, Lakshmi, you've done work in India, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and
Yes.
Kenya.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
guess the question is, you've got a bunch of people here that we are interested to hear more on that question. If you want to come back in the text chat and just add to that, fine. But we want to see you. We want to see you at Cranfield School of Management. Lakshmi, what, in your view also, what should people be doing right now? I mean, we've got a March deadline, right, for the finance MSc?
Yes. So I think similar to what Yasin has said, so we have a deadline for the March intake for the MSc in finance, and we are looking for another intake for September for banking, economics and finance, accounting and finance. So if you're interested in any of the programs, the first thing to do is apply. I understand that 1 hour might not be sufficient time to sort of answer all your queries. If there's anything you need more information about, feel free to contact Yasin for finance or accounting and finance. You can contact me for banking related information. And, we are happy to take your queries on board, answer any questions you might have. And so you have to get that conversation rolling. Don't wait too long to make that decision, because as Yasin said, numbers do fill in very fast. So if it is something you're interested, you should act upon it very fast.
Seize the day, as I've learned to call it. Lakshmi, thank you very much indeed. We're coming to the end of the session. I guess the obvious message here is get in touch. We are very keen to hear from you. So please, whatever query, no matter how small. And also look at the website, go through that, trawl it, and then put back to us any queries that you see on the contact pages on that. Guys, we've kind of finished. Haofeng, thank you very much indeed. Hopefully you've got your PhD studies to go back to. What's your day looking like, or your week looking like this week?
Sorry, what's the day?
What's today looking like for you? Are you researching? Are you interviewing people? What are you doing for your PhD?
I'll try more variables.
He collects
to
data.
test the data.
Data collection.
It's
I just
data
said your
collection.
supervisor say
Yeah.
data collection. That's
Data
what you should be
collection is more
doing.
cracking
I put you on the
information.
spot there. Lakshmi, thank you so much. I know you've got a busy teaching schedule coming up in
Toby,
your
I
scene.
need just
Go
to
on,
add something. I
in
think
2
we
minutes.
miss. Yeah, in a very short thing, is one of the key feature of all our programs is that especially from this year, we are offering summer internship for our students
right.
here. So that's why when Lakshmi was saying about the challenge that you face, especially for term 3,
Yeah.
when you do your thesis,
Yeah.
some of the students will be embarked upon their thesis and as well as summer internship. So one of the features that Cranfield University provide to our students, especially for performing students, is the possibility to work during the summer with the company from anywhere in the world. So we have a lot of big companies that are interested in our students to work on a certain task during the summer.
So how do you choose a company? It's given to you?
Well, it is given to you, but you first there is a process whereby the students have to fill in a questionnaire about what kind of industry they want to work on, and then we work with our provider to link the student with the company, and then there will be an interview, and then based on that, the students can work. And we started this a couple of years ago, and it's been quite successful. One of our students also got a job through the internship that we
that's
offered.
good.
Yeah.
You left that to the very end. That's a really
Yeah,
important
yeah.
point, but that sounds scary and relevant and fantastic for boosting your career.
Yes, exactly. So some of the big, probably I know some of the big private equities are involved in this, in offering this internship to our students.
How can you pass that up? I don't know how you can pass that up. Relevant, accredited internships You got everything going for you.
And
Guy-
if students are interested about these things, they can
And get in
we
touch.
haven't talked
Yeah,
about.
no,
yes, please.
Rami says, very insightful webinar. Thank you, Rami. Makes me really interested. I'm already submitting an application in MSc in Banking, Economics and Finance, and I'm Chevening applicant. I hope to be shortlisted for this course. Rami, we can't wait to meet you. And let's hopefully, the lights will shine on Rami there. We're going to have to wrap it up. We've come to an end. I'm going to thank Haofang. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Lakshmi, thank you for your time.
Sure.
Yassine, take it easy. You've got a lot of lectures coming up in your way. So thank you both. Thank you for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at Cranfield. The studio managers today were Chris Ripley and Marco Gomez. The producer was Tammy Argent-Peters. My name is Toby Thompson. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.